Okay, so I'll just dive in though. So Angela and I were just at a growth summit, which is just like a ginormous 2, 3 days of personal development, and the kind that kind of fries out your brain a little bit, but also just gives you really realistic, I don't know, just like really realistic action plans to kind of take home with you and start. So I don't think all self-development seminars are created equal. They all have kind of their different take on living your best life and a different feel as far as how that's accomplished. This particular one, I felt really talked to the entrepreneur who has a family. And now it was mostly men that spoke, but they were family-oriented men. And the speakers they chose were like that. And then they also had two women speaking. One of them was Rachel Hollis from Girl Wash Your Face. And I really appreciated her perspective because she's definitely in that world with them, but she's very different than them. And she's still like a mom. And I really felt like so many times I hear men speaking and I'm like, and they say things like, you have the same 24 hours as the next person. And you have, you got to go for your dreams and you got to do this, and I always am like, I agree. It's good content, but I'm like, but you don't actually know what it's like to be a mother. Like, you don't actually know what it's like to like actually not have 24 hours that you get to choose what you do with, because that's just a lie. Like, I can't choose to not change a diaper or drop my kids off at school or, that kind of thing. So I will tell you though, Rachel was not easy on the mamas. She was not like, this is not a green pass to get out of working your butt off. Like in fact, she was like, look, if you feel like having kids is holding you back, like that you feel like that's an excuse, she's like, look around. Chances are there are women with the same amount of kids, the same busy schedules that are making it work. Look at what they're doing to make it work, kind of a thing. And so I really like that because I do sometimes get into this, like this little funnel of, well, nobody understands me. My family's like so important. So I'm just going to shift my focus over there, when really it's like, okay, don't use that as a reason not to figure it out, not to figure out how to make it work for you. So I really appreciated that she's just kind of like, look, people are doing it. Moms are doing it. And you can decide what that looks like to you. And then it was interesting hearing Brigitta's perspective. So Brigitta Langford was with us too. And she's been such a great mentor to this team and to me personally as well. And she was in there and she said, one of her biggest takeaways, and she wrote a really great post about this too, was this idea of mom guilt. And Rachel Hollis spoke right about this, like this idea that we have mom guilt over these things. And Brigitte was saying that sometimes when she has coaches say to her something like, I can't pursue this business because my family's just my priority right now. And I feel like I need to be like this really good mom and they need me. And she gets that everyone has their own thing, right? Like, and that is sometimes just where we're at in life. But she would internalize that as, they don't think I'm a good mom because I am chasing a dream, because I do work a business, because I do choose to do this. And so she was saying that kind of dimmed her fire a little bit the last year, because she just felt that judginess, even from some of her own teammates, just because they had a different perspective. And I think it was very liberating actually for her this weekend to hear that. And I think for me too. And it was interesting to hear Rachel Hollis's perspective because, so if you don't know who Rachel Hollis is, so she does a lot of public speaking. She started her own company with her husband, and they're definitely entrepreneurs, and they travel a lot without their kids, sometimes with their kids, but for the most part, like they travel a lot. And she said, she would get DM after DM, so private messages after private messages of people saying, like, oh, it must be nice to have someone else raising your kids. Or, oh, it must be nice to have, you know, like real insults to her, who she is as a mother. And one, like, it seriously surprises me that people have time to even like say that to people, you know, like, what's up with haters? Like, really? I just like I just don't understand. And I haven't had a lot of hating for what I do, and she actually said she didn't get a lot of hate when she was doing it out of need. So when she was trying to help her family, like her family financially needed her to do this, she had a lot of support from family and friends. And then when it shifted into, well, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, why are you still working? Your husband makes a ton of money. Like, what's going on here? Then the support started like trickling away, if that makes sense. Like, they could not understand. And she was like, I'm doing this because I want to do this, because this is like who I am, you know? And so she's kind of like, you're going to have haters because for some reason women, and we're kind of like harshest to each other and to ourselves, but women are going to judge you and they're going to tell you what they think about your mothering, you know? And she's like, I'm a dang good mom. Yeah, I travel, but like I have a good relationship with my kids. They know I am, she worded it so great. She's like, we're demonstrating to our kids in real time what a adult looks like and like what kind of life, you know. It's like we tell our kids, you can grow up and be anything you want, but like that include, like, let me show you, let me show you what that looks like, what it looks like to be healthy and what it looks like to chase a dream, you know. I just really liked that. And the quote that I wrote down specifically was, and like it was like a mic drop in the room, right? And she's like, you were a person before you became their mother, and that person matters. And I really liked that, and I like the perspective of that. So wrapping that all together, like, I know I just went on like this huge tangent of like moms doing this business, but I think that sometimes we hold ourselves back because, one, we might not need the money. So we're like, well, then why am I doing this? Like, is this selfish of me to like pull from my family time to do this? I'm not in that category, by the way. That's not my story. But it was in the beginning. In the beginning, I did not like, I mean, we were poor students, but to be honest, like I didn't know if it was ever going to amount to anything. So I totally was not doing it for the money. I was a skeptic. I was completely doing it because it was fun and it linked me into other women. And I felt better about myself. Like, I loved doing challenge groups. I love, you know, and so it was like, it was totally worth it to me for so long to be doing it for so little. Does that make sense? And like my kids will, like, they're not going to remember. Only my oldest is probably going to remember me pre Beachbody because I've been a coach for 6 years now. But like, different person altogether, different person. And like, to even like kind of full circle back to Brigida, she said, like, I'm a better mom because I do this. And not just because she physically takes care of herself, but because this is what she wants to do. Like, she grew up and this is what she wants to do. So don't let the mom guilt hold you back. So whether you need the money or not, who gives a crap? Like, this makes us better people. So awesome. And then the second thing is, that holds us back is that mom guilt is, you know, kind of like, I guess it's all one thing, but there's just different levels of mom guilt, I guess. And one of the other speakers, he was talking about how, you know, it's that kind of that concept of saying no to things so you can say yes to better things. And sometimes as moms, we want to be like the one in the classroom volunteering, the one bringing the bake sale stuff, the one, you know, hosting like this lavish birthday party, the one, you know, doing all these things. And some of those, if you're really passionate about, should totally be yeses. But some of them are unnecessary, and we only say yes because we don't want to let other people down or what we think mom life should look like. Does that make sense? Like, someday I'm like, if I could just like, if I didn't value the time, because I actually I used to think a lot about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spend so much time in the car taking kids to places. And I'm like, if I didn't value that time, I would totally hire somebody to take my kid places. But that's like when we get quality, like talking time. So I'm like, no, that's a good yes. And I'm not even saying that I could do that right now. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. I feel like I'm just like preaching right now, but you guys know what I'm saying. Okay, let me look in, and I really feel like we just have to be a little bit bolder and not care so much about what other people think, including our mother-in-laws, including our moms, including our sisters, like even the people closest to us. Like just go for it. And sometimes it's hard because in our circle of friends or our circle of family, they don't actually understand what it is we're doing. So they're like, what is that like whole fit thing? And they don't actually really want to know. They're just kind of like, oh, you're just like living in this, I don't know what the right word is, but it's just like, just free yourself and let go. And I kind of feel like too, that, if you have any kind of religious belief, like, I don't think God works through fear at all, like at all. And so if you're doing something because you're afraid of being judged or afraid of what it's going to make you look like, afraid of something, like, I don't think that fear is coming from like harmony with your mission and what you are supposed to do. And so just kind of think of it that way. Let me just, I only have one page of notes, which is weird for Rachel. And I think it was because I was like this the whole time. Like, I was like, are you guys like, I'm like, record. Anyway, she said something. She said, trying is the same thing as failing. So if you say, I'm going to try to do this, you're already saying, I'm going to let myself fail doing this. That's her opinion. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm just sharing that with you. But I take that as like, because sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going to try to hit Success Club this week, And it's like, but when you say it that way, when you approach it that way, versus like, I'm going to do this, like, period. I am doing this, not I'm trying to do this. Courage to be yourself. I will tell you that there have actually been times in my life, even recently, where I feel like I hold myself back a little bit from even like my family. Sometimes even from my husband. I'm not sure what that is. Like, it's totally a me thing, not a him thing. But like, I don't know. I came home and I was like skipping in the house. I'm like, y'all, like, your mama's back. Like, we're going to be singing musicals again. Like, I don't know what it was, but just like the courage to like let go and be free, be yourself. Okay. Sorry. I'm just like tangenting here off of what she said, but okay. And this one I love. So she said, habits are not for when things are good. They're when the ish hits the fan. You know what I'm saying there? So, and I was thinking about that because I think sometimes we feel like doing the everyday things like our fitness and reading our personal development and even doing our power hours, we're like expecting bad things not to come our way. Like, we're expecting the business to just be fine, and we're expecting our family life to just be fine, and like just everything to be groovy. And then when things go off, we're like, well, what the heck? I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was taking care of myself. Why would this happen? I was taking care of this relationship. Why would this happen? And she's like, dudes, actually she said, sisters, it's, you have to have those in place for when the bad happens. That gets you through it. And I actually, like, I totally have felt this in my life. And that's why I'm so grateful, you guys, to be a coach, because not to be preachy again, but like, seriously, the habits of taking care of ourselves, like, it gets us through some serious, like, mom crises and relationship crises and like dealing with so many other things. So anyway, all right. And then she suggests, and this is a good one, that everybody has a bad A playlist. So some sort of music that like gets you in the mood to like rock your life. And whether if you need motivation to start your workout or whether you need motivation to start your invites or something, it's like a chemical thing shifts in your brain when you're listening. So I was like, okay, that's an actionable item that I could do. She did say though, she's like, you make an actual list, like make an actual playlist on your phone or Spotify or whatever. And she goes, and only use that playlist when you absolutely have to. So, and I think it's kind of like when you're training for a marathon. And I haven't done this. I just talked to people that have. Marathons are not in my future, but I have trained for a Ragnar. Okay. So it's kind of like when I was training for the Ragnar. And you have a playlist that's for like go time, like game day, like the day of the race, but you purposely don't listen to it while you're training because you want to have like the juices of those songs that you love more than life, like playing while you're kicking butt. So let's all have one of those. I'm so dead serious. And like, somewhere in this comment thread that when I post this recording in our power hour, it's like, I want to hear what like your top 3 songs are that's on your list. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you right now, Sarah Bareilles will be in there with like that. Say what you want to say. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway. That helps me when I got to invite or when I got to like preach for a minute.
I totally love the Rocky soundtrack. Like Eye of the Tiger, like all of that, like totally gets you going.
Yes. And like sometimes it's not even music. Like sometimes I just need to listen to like Keisha from Team Forward Fitness, like preach for a second. Like I don't even need the full call. I just need to like hear her voice going like the passion, you know, or whatever, or one of those YouTube videos, you know, like Tony Robbins, or like something, you know. I'm sure Tony Horton also has motivation stuff on there, but maybe it just doesn't hit me like Tony Robbins does, you know. And that's really it. And then, I mean, there's like so much more, but oh yeah, okay. I have one last nugget. This is a big one. And I kind of chatted with Kim. This is why I said this to Kimmy yesterday when she's talking about her blog. So he's like, you know the movie Field of Dreams? And the guy's like, if you build it, they will come, you know? He's like, you can build the most amazing brand, the most amazing product, like the greatest gift to humanity. It could be the cure for cancer. You can build it and no one will come, ever. He even said that. He's like, ever. Because they don't know about it. They don't know about it. Like no one's going to come if they don't know about it. And he even said that some of his things, when he's putting out a new program or a new book or a new product, he always reverse engineers it. He first thinks, how would I sell this? And then he creates it to kind of help the whole vision of how he would sell it. And when sell, he means like, how will people need this, respond to this, and that kind of thing. And so I think about that like with our boot camps, our challenge groups that we run, coaching sneak peeks, you know, all those things. Like instead of just throwing it out there randomly, like I have for the past 5 years, you know, instead of just throwing it out there, it's like be super intentional and reverse engineer it. Like, okay, I have a coach sneak peek I want to do in 10 days. What do I need to breadcrumb in the next 10 days to like get people there? Because you could have the most amazing coach sneak peek ever, like giving out $1,000 to everyone that comes, you know? But if nobody knows about it and nobody gets there, there's no point. You know what I mean? So, so Kimmy, with your blog, that's why I suggested, like, I've seen a lot of bloggers, they put like a little excerpt out of their blog and a really nice picture that goes with the blog. And then they put that on Instagram with like new blog post or new, you know, something. I don't know, something. But okay, that just got me thinking about it. I'm like, it's so true. And that's why we have to be like almost obsessed. And actually, this is the word I took home with me. Obsessed with figuring out how to grow our followings. Obsessed with how to grow the eyes on you. Everybody on this team is really great at content. Content is awesome. So like I could go to any of your accounts and be inspired like that and like love it like that. but you can build it and no one will come if we're not obsessed with figuring out how to bring people to come. So that's what I'm working on for the rest of this year. And I need to find the recording. I wonder if Lindsay Matway will do it again. So Lindsay Matway is like, she was a top coach for like 3 years in a row, I want to say. I can't remember. At least 3 years in a row, she was a top coach. And she did a call once that was talking about the end of the year and how if you like step up your game, October, November, December, and it is hard because so many people are not interested right now. They're already checking out for the year. So true. So you're just expect to like hear more no's than you have, expect resistance. But if you like really show it up, I can't remember the word she used. It's going to kill me. I got to find it. But basically the idea is that come January through April, your business will, it's like, I think it said like triple, I want to say it was like 3 times it, like your business will grow by 3 times. And, so it doesn't even matter if you're like, for anybody that is like even brand new, like even if somebody enrolled today, I truly think that right now is the time to be having so many conversations and just being so dedicated to our personal health journey. Like now is the time to like seriously have a rockin' transformation and to like show up every day and then to be in a lot of conversation, because maybe not necessarily right when January hits, but come January, February, March, and April, like there will be this huge growth. And if you have relationships with people, they're going to be like, I know you, I like you, I trust you, and I need your help. And that's how it grows. So there's another tangent of preaching, but okay. Any open floor. Anybody else have anything they want to say or ask or do or whatever? Motivation.
I do.
Go ahead.
So with the blog, have you? So my husband brought up an interesting point, because I almost think that blog was like so 2011 or 13. I like the writing aspect of it, but I'm like, I don't know if this is even worth it. But he brought up a fact that if you go through like Dr. Axe is all about blogs, and so a lot of people in the health and fitness career field are, or that actually represents health and fitness. Dr. Mercola is one of them. Bulletproof Radio. I don't know if you've ever.
Yeah, I think I do know who that is, actually.
Yeah, Dave Asprey. Actually, he has really good podcasts with entrepreneurs and stuff. But he talks against MLM, so I'm kind of turned off by that. But I like the coffee. It's great coffee. His coffee beans. He actually roasts them really good. But he always has some kind of blog. So I'm like, okay, like I love writing, and so I just did like a Court of Force like review, because I finally did it for the first time in July. So, and I actually noticed because I posted it on Facebook, and so it looks like random leads are just going straight to it. So, but it's not much. It's like, little trickles. And I've actually been reading about SEO. So I've been SEOing it and putting keywords in it. So we'll see. I just didn't know what your thoughts were. Like if you heard anyone, especially starting out in the business.
Yeah, I think I don't know about blogging, except I've always wanted to be a blogger and I just never have been. So I have like 3 blogs that like have like 2, entries. But I think that whatever you choose, like Kimmy, like you just said that you were researching keywords and you were researching things. I think that all that really counts is that 1, you're passionate about whatever avenue you choose, and then 2, you're super consistent with it. So like I know that Melanie Mitro, who, she built her business primarily off of a blog for a long time. Now she still has a lot of social media, but I kind of think that, do you follow Brigitte Linford, Kim? Okay, so I feel like Brigitte's posts are like blog posts. They're very long. They're very thought out. They're very, not all of her posts, but a lot of the meat of what she posts are kind of like blog posts. What my husband and I have had this conversation too. And I feel like go for it totally. And then just like duplicate yourself. So like, just like reuse the same things. So like post your core to force review, like post it, and then just go ahead and just like post the whole thing on Facebook or on Instagram, and Instagram. Like just have it like stream across all three of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
I don't know. Stacey, do you think that's a good idea? That's what I'm thinking. And then they know there's a blog there, and go ahead and like work on attracting people through your blog. But you might as well just like copy and paste to your social medias, and then they know there's a blog that has like where they can really see what you've, your last, like the history of what you've been doing kind of a thing.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll try it. I actually might go in and put that as one of my posts today just to see. Because I did put like, hey, here, check out my blog, that kind of thing. Just, the link. But yeah.
Which is good too. Like I would totally do that. I would just like, because people right now are probably going to be finding your blog through your Facebook and Instagram. And so I would definitely like fuel both of them at the same time, like fuel social media and your blog, but then also have those little like, don't forget to check out my blog, or I would really appreciate it if you would follow, you know what I mean? Like every once in a while, like it's kind of like the jab, right cook, like give value and then be like, please come follow me, and like value. And then like, hey, I have more on the blog, or like that recipe's on the blog, or whatever, something that drives the traffic to your blog. But yeah, I think that's good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun to have a baby, like a project, it's fun. It makes it exciting. So it just takes time to build it. Like to build a blog, I'm sure it takes time, but.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. So I'm so new to everything. I mean, I don't know if you know my story. I've been trying to do this for a year and a half, and then I go on orders, or I'm doing this, or I'm like, so like I came off of orders, was it the 30th of September, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going back to work if I can help it. They want to put me on orders again for 3 months, so we'll see, but I almost feel like I'm learning a new job on top of trying to get this started, and it just, that whole time thing. So yeah. I understand the time, but.
No, but you're like ready, you're like running, which is good. And that's fine. Yeah. That's good. That's exciting.
My goal is never to start over again. So don't ever start over. That's the whole deal. Don't get momentum and just like let it crash and burn. Like I will never do that again in my life. So that's like my whole point. Like if I can give anyone advice, just don't do it.
I'm totally with you on that, Kim. Like there's been 2 major events that's happened since I've been a coach, and both times I like completely stepped back, and then stepping back in was like 8 months of like so much failure and like stumbling, like trying to get the momentum back. So yeah, I'm with you. I know that story. I don't like that story. Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah. Stacey, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, so going back to that comment that Rachel Hollis made about trying is basically failing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mental block, because like we hear all the time, like on national wake up calls, how coaches say like Success Club is a non-negotiable. And I feel like, because I feel like I'm doing all of the actions, but Success Club is a rarity for me and not, so I'm like, and they say it's a decision, but it's like, I have a roadblock and a mind block of, well, how do you switch that from it is a decision because of the actions I'm doing and I'm reaping the rewards for my actions, and I don't have a trying mentality. Like I'm going for this, but like it doesn't always hit, like I don't know, I'm struggling with that.
Well, I mean, I think you do have to know that some goals I shouldn't say it like that. I think sometimes we're not going to hit our goals, right? But it doesn't change like that we have to still like kind of make the decision to hit it. So Angela and I were talking about that too, Stacey, because we both feel like we do all the actions and we do, we go through the motions, and sometimes it's frustrating because you're like, okay, but what's up? And I think we've decided that it's the intentionality when we sit down each day it's sitting down and going, it's kind of that reverse engineering. It's sitting down and going, I need to hit Success Club this week. I am going to hit Success Club this week. How do I need to bring it to this power hour to make that happen? And even though your actions might be the same, I do think there's a mindset shift when you sit down like, okay, like I need to, like, having that urgency feeling, not the panic feeling, not the, oh my gosh, it's the 22nd of the month and I haven't hit Success Club and I like panic. I don't mean that feeling. I mean the feeling of sitting down and going, okay, I am going to hit Success Club. How do I need to bring it to this power hour today? And you might still send out the same amount of invites, but I don't know what it is. It's just like this weird thing. But when you can mentally kind of shift it that way, it just changes the energy flow of the actions. We're still like wonky on it. Like we're still working on that too. I'm still working on that too. But it's having the confidence, I guess, and maybe I don't know. I guess like the willingness to just like, no, I'm going to make this happen. And I think it actually helps us problem solve too, because it's like, okay, I'm not consistently hitting it, but why not? Yes, I'm doing all the things, but why not? And then like being really intentional about figuring out why not. But I'm not sure. Like, I think it's individual too, but that's something I'm like, I think my goal needs to be, and this is like so scary to say this because I'm not a consistent Success Club person at all. But I told Angela, I'm like, every Monday I need to sit down at my computer and go SC10 this week. And it already, like yesterday, it already changed. So that was like one of my takeaways leaving that conference. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to set a really high goal for myself. And I'm going to not act like I can get away with not hitting it. You know, like I'm just going to sit down and be like, this is what I'm doing this week. I'm hitting Success Club 10 this week. And I have no idea if it's going to happen or not. But in my head, when I sit down at the computer, it's going to happen. And I'm like, so what do I need to do right? Like, what are the actions that I need to do that? And we already have our list, but it's almost more what's the energy I need to bring to it to make this happen? And then does something need to be tweaked? Is there something that I need to add more value to? Is there something I need to do? You know what I mean? And Stacey, I think for you, I think you're actually really similar to me right now, which is you have great content. You have great everything. It's like totally just getting people's eyes on you and getting to meet new people all the time. And I think that that's one of the things I'm like, what's holding me back from hitting Success Club is the growth. That's it, the growth. Because I'm not afraid to have conversations anymore. I'm not afraid to invite people anymore. But it takes time and energy to figure out how to grow your network. Does that make sense? And then one thing that shifted for me too is sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Stacey. The last like group of challengers I have that are in a group right now, we're all from Instagram. I don't know any of them personally. And I think that's the first time I've ever hit Success Club with people I don't know in person. And for the first time, like something clicked in my head. Like, wow, I actually, like, it was a confidence thing. It was like, oh, I actually can add value to somebody I don't know, first of all, and they can trust me enough to do this. And it just eliminated, all of a sudden it was like, oh, I just need to meet more people. That's it. More people like me. And once that like shift was made, I mean, I'm still like kind of stumbling through because it seriously takes a little bit of failing to figure it out. But I'm like determined, like we're going to figure this out. Like I'm building it and I need people to come. So I'm building the how to get there part, you know? Anyway, go ahead, Stacey. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I don't want to abandon Facebook because I do have a lot of people who, you know, keep saying like, I'm going to join you one of these days. But like my focus on growing is all on Instagram because I feel the same.
Yeah.
Like people are more willing to follow someone they don't know. And then they just watch my stories where every day I'm showing my workout, and they're like, oh, I really want to do this. But also, I was reading in my PD about we have this is like what I've been focusing on this week is having faith in whatever you call it, whether it's God, the universe, source energy, everything that they talk about in the law of attraction and things. You have to do the actions, but then you have to kind of like have faith and like just have faith that it's gonna somehow those people are gonna come to us. Somehow I'm gonna hit my goal this month, even though I'm at 0 and it's the 23rd, but somehow I'm gonna have faith that they're gonna come to me from all of my hard work. And that's the part like I know that, and it's just like tricking my head to like when I sit down to think that way, so that I'm not having that panic in my head. So it's just like you said, yeah, it's all mental.
It totally is. And I was just thinking when you were saying that, I resonate with everything you just said. And also, I was thinking about how sometimes the takeaways we get from things like this call, or even as something like Summit or personal development, is there are all a few things that we know we could add in or do, but we just are a little bit afraid to do it. That might be that like little percentage difference from here to here. And like, I will give you the example is I know that I need to be going live twice a week. I don't. I go live in our coaching page, and I go live in our fit community. Going live like synergizes me, totally does. But it also scares the heck out of me, because especially when people are watching you, like, no views please until I'm done. But something like that. And so I feel like everybody has something. Everybody has like something like right now. If you really like looked at your business and thought, okay, that one thing that's been on my list forever, or that one thing that I think I should probably do that would help grow my business, but it's really outside of my comfort zone. I guess like really it's more, what's one thing that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, but it would help your business? And if you can ask yourself that, like, that might also be like part of that. And if you can do that, it helps switch your mindset, because it does give you confidence. Even if you flop at whatever it is you did, you tried it, you proved to yourself that you tried it, and it like shifts somehow. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's what I've been thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know. Even right now I'm starting to have anxiety, because today is the day that like I'm set to go live. My kids are all at school, and I'm like, so that's it.
I struggle with life too, because like just naturally I stumble over my words, and like, so I've had people even comment like, oh, you need to practice this before you go live, because it's hard to follow. And so like that totally just like crushes me. And so
those are haters. Even though they're nice, they're still haters. Like, like, what is that called? Like positive criticism, or like feedback, or whatever you want to call it. Like, you can be like, I am practicing it. Thanks for your input. That's exactly what I was doing. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's that confidence in like, do I know really what I'm sharing? I did a live hair tutorial, and I got a lot of good feedback from that, but it's just like every day I can't show like how to curl your hair.
right. You have to like,
so it's like, ugh.
Yeah. And I think too, like, just keep some sort of journal or something of like ideas that you would be really comfortable talking about. And I think that's actually why stories are so good live, because like something that you are really good at like telling somebody else, like, this just happened to me. Kind of like yesterday, when you had like 911 called, like, you could totally go live and tell that story and be like, this just happened. And like, Okay. Like, and sometimes I think we feel like we have to be an expert too at something in order to share it. And I don't think that's true either. And also, like, some of my most successful live videos were me asking for help for something. Like, I need help figuring out a morning routine for my kids. Explosion of comments and personal messages, and it's like, so if we can just be kind of mindful about, like,
Sorry.
no, it's fine, Kim. Anyway, I'll go ahead and end the recording since we've been, well, I guess we haven't been quite an hour, but I'm going to end the recording. Thanks for showing up.